right, get ready because today we're going to really dive deep into a field that I think is going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
Power distribution engineers.
Yeah, these are the folks who, you flip a switch and the lights come on.
Right.
They're the ones who make it happen.
It's more than meets the eye, right?
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's crucial. I mean, it's
Yeah.
more fascinating than people think.
It's got to be, yeah, we take it for granted, right?
Absolutely.
So to help us kind of understand this world a little better, we've got RoleCatcher,
Right.
which is this great career development platform.
Yeah.
And they've got all this amazing information on this field from like what these folks actually do every day to, what their career path looks like, what the challenges are.
And they've got like real job postings. It's not just theoretical.
Oh.
Real job postings, like you can see what the skills are.
Wow, that's cool.
Insights, what their day-to-day is like.
That's so valuable.
It's like a backstage pass to the whole industry.
I love it. Okay, so let's jump in.
Yeah.
So power distribution engineers, what do they actually do all day? I mean, is it just putting up power lines? What's going on?
It's so much more than that.
Okay.
Think about architects.
Okay.
They design buildings. These folks design the power grids that supply entire cities with power.
Right.
So they're the ones that are making sure the lights come on, it's reliable, it's safe, the electricity's flowing. And that is not easy, especially with how much energy we use now.
Right, especially with how much we rely on it.
Absolutely.
Everything's electric these days.
Yeah.
Okay, so RoleCatcher, they give us this really interesting look at, what the actual work environment is like for these engineers.
Right.
So we're talking power plants,
Yeah.
substations.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sometimes they're even going out in like crazy weather, right?
Absolutely.
Keep the grid running.
It's not your typical office job.
It's not, no.
No, you're on the front lines.
Yeah.
Like you're dealing with this vital industry. You're
Yeah.
working with incredible technology.
Exciting though, right?
Oh, it's very exciting.
To have that kind of an impact.
And you get to see how your work impacts people every day.
Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, so you've got these kind of, demanding work environments. We're talking about cutting edge tech.
Right.
And then, I mean, the weight of keeping the lights on for, however many thousands, millions of people, right?
Yeah.
So what does RoleCatcher say about like, the good, the bad, the electrifying, I guess, aspects of this career?
Well, on the plus side, the job security is fantastic.
Okay.
Like everybody needs electricity.
That's true.
Always will need electricity.
Right, yeah.
The more we rely on it, the more these guys are going to be in demand.
It's like the one job that's, they're not going to be replaced by robots anytime soon. But, I mean, it's got to be stressful, right?
Oh, yeah.
What about some of those downsides?
You're talking immense responsibility.
Yeah.
If you mess up, that's critical infrastructure.
Right.
Entire communities rely on this stuff.
People's lives depend on this.
Absolutely. So the stakes are high.
Yeah.
The pressure's always on.
No kidding, yeah.
One miscalculation could be huge.
Yeah, you can't just be like, oops.
No oops in this business.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like
Yeah.
a whole city block could be in the dark.
Right.
Traffic lights could go out.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, no kidding. RoleCatcher mentioned something about, like, potential exposure to hazards.
Right.
What do they mean by that?
Well, you're dealing with high voltage equipment.
Right.
A lot of times you're in challenging outdoor environments.
Right.
So safety is a huge deal.
I bet, yeah.
Like paramount.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Not for the faint of heart.
no, you can't be afraid of heights. You can't be afraid of electricity, probably.
Yeah.
So RoleCatcher also mentioned that you got to be constantly learning in this field.
Right.
What'd they say about that?
So it's constantly evolving, right? New technologies coming out all the time.
Right, like everything else.
Smart grids, microgrids,
Right.
Renewables are changing everything.
Yeah.
So you always got to be learning.
Okay.
Got to be adapting.
It's like the Wild West out there, but it's electricity.
It really is, yeah.
That's pretty cool. RoleCatcher did a really good job, I thought, of breaking down like the actual career path.
Okay. Of a power distribution.
Like the steps.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So it typically starts out as an assistant engineer, entry level.
Okay.
You're working with more senior engineers,
Okay.
assisting with designs, doing research,
Yeah.
really learning how it all works, the standards, the regulations.
Right.
They had a good example. This one engineer, I think they were just a couple years into it,
Okay.
and they were already getting experience with the design and operation of these power distribution facilities.
Wow. So it's not just like, getting coffee,
No.
pushing paper.
You're in it.
You're in the trenches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So what's after that first step?
So as you get some experience, you move up to junior engineer.
Okay.
Now you're starting to take on more responsibility, designing systems, doing these feasibility studies for new projects.
Wow.
You're coordinating with different people, making sure the consumers are taken care of.
Okay, so like what kind of stuff? Give me an example.
So they had one, it was a junior power distribution engineer.
Okay.
And they were talking about how they were designing power distribution facilities, conducting those feasibility studies,
Okay.
even monitoring and maintaining equipment.
Wow. So they're not just like, learning anymore.
Yeah.
They're actually doing it.
They're doing it.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Big responsibility.
Okay, so then where do they go from there?
So next up, you move into the full-fledged power distribution engineer role.
Okay.
Now you're leading the design and optimization of these facilities.
Okay.
You're managing the projects, the timelines, the budgets.
Right.
Making sure everyone's following all those safety regulations.
So you got to have like the people skills too.
Absolutely.
It's not just the technical.
It's both.
Okay.
Gotta have both.
Gotcha.
RoleCatcher had a great example.
Okay.
This person, they were talking about how they led the design and optimization of facilities. They were managing budgets. They were doing research on new tech, collaborating with all these different teams to get the job done.
Yeah.
They even mentioned mentoring junior engineers.
Oh, wow.
Which I think speaks volumes about the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's really cool that they're bringing up the next generation.
It is. It is.
So that's cool. But like, if you really want to like get to the top of this, there's one more level, right?
There is, yeah. The senior power distribution engineer.
What are those guys doing?
They are the masters of the grid.
Really?
They are developing strategic plans for the entire system.
Wow.
Leading huge projects, giving expert advice, doing risk assessments.
That's a lot.
Building relationships with all the key stakeholders.
The big picture.
Big picture stuff.
They're not just thinking about keeping the lights on today.
Right.
They're thinking years, decades down the line.
What did RoleCatcher's example say about this, like the person they highlighted?
Yeah, so they really emphasized that long-term planning.
Right.
They were talking about scalability, reliability, sustainability, making sure the grid can handle whatever's coming next.
Right, which is a big question mark these days.
Huge, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And they also talked about their passion for mentoring.
Oh, that's cool.
Guiding that next generation.
I love that. I love that about this field, it seems like.
Yeah, it's a very collaborative field.
Yeah, it's not just like, I'm at the top.
Right.
They're really trying to help people.
They want to bring people up with them. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so obviously to do any of this, you need, the engineering background.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. That's a given.
Rock solid.
But RoleCatcher, they had this whole section on like the skills and knowledge you need to really thrive in this career.
Right. And it goes beyond the technical.
Really?
This is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
They talk a lot about soft skills.
Soft skills.
Yeah.
You mean like you got to be a people person to work with electricity?
Well, to a certain extent, yeah.
Okay.
Think about it. You're collaborating with your colleagues.
Right.
You're interacting with stakeholders.
Okay.
You got to be able to explain this really complex stuff to people who don't eat, sleep, and breathe electricity like you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm sure you get
a lot
of jargon.
Tons of jargon.
Acronyms, all that stuff.
All day long.
So it's almost like you got to be like a translator almost too.
Oh, absolutely. You got to make it make sense.
Yeah, right.
Why should somebody care about a new substation,
Right.
You got to be able to communicate that effectively.
Yeah. What's the real world impact?
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay. What other soft skills did they talk about?
So critical thinking is huge.
Okay.
Problem solving, that's a big part of it. They're constantly looking at data.
Okay.
Trying to find potential problems before they happen.
Right.
How do we optimize this thing?
So they're kind of like detectives almost.
In a way, yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
They're looking for those inefficiencies,
It's like Sherlock Holmes, but for the power grid.
There you go.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with RoleCatcher because they didn't just give us all this information and then just drop us off.
Right.
They actually gave us a ton of resources.
Oh, yeah.
To further explore this.
Their career guide is fantastic.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They have these interview guides specifically for power distribution engineers.
That's really helpful.
So helpful.
Yeah, if someone's listening to this and they're like, wow, I love problem solving. I'm into tech. I want to make a real impact.
Right.
This is this could be it, right?
This could be it, yeah. And they give you the tools.
Okay, so they've got the interview guides. What else?
related career paths, too.
Oh,
So it's
right.
not just this one specific thing.
Right.
Maybe you're interested in solar or wind.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's all connected.
It's all energy, yeah.
Exactly. Very cool. Okay.
And then they even had links to, like, professional organizations,
Sure.
industry publications.
Oh, wow. They really did go all out.
It's a one-stop shop.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay, so we've reached the end of our electrifying deep dive.
I see what you did there.
I had to get one more in.
Of course.
What's like the key takeaway here?
I think, next time you flip that light switch, it's not magic.
Right.
There are people behind that.
Real people.
Power distribution engineers.
Yeah.
They keep the world running.
They do.
They make sure we have the energy we need when we need it.
And it sounds like, if you're interested in a career where you're challenged, you're learning new things all the time,
Yeah.
you're making a real difference, this could be it. It really could.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a cool field.
It is. It is.